guys, welcome back to my IGTV. This week I'm a little bit excited, also a little bit nervous because I'm doing something quite different to what I'm normally doing on my IGTVs, which is just talking. And today I'm going to show you how I capture a lot of the photos I have with movement in them. So my twirling and my skirt flicks and things like that. And I've actually had quite a few people asking if I can do this. So I'm finally giving in and I'm gonna give it a go. I've even named all of my moves for you. Probably gonna be quite funny. If it's not helpful, at least it'll be something you can laugh at. I think adding movement to photos can really make them far more interesting and far more dynamic, especially if you have quite a static background. So it's really good to have these little moves in the back of your mind when you're stuck in a moment trying to make a photo more interesting, or you know you're wearing a beautiful dress that deserves to be twirled in. So hopefully this helps, but let's get started. The first little move I'm going to show you, I've just named my classic twirl, and this is probably the movement I add most when I do twirls in my photos. And pretty much all you require is a dress that has a bit of fabric happening in the skirt. It doesn't even need to be this much. This is quite a lot, but I guess the more the better. And also you can have different lengths as long as it's not too short that when you twirl, I guess it's gonna be too revealing. So yeah, that would be my tips for what to wear. And then my tips for actually getting the photo is to, I guess, have your photographer or the person taking your photo all set up and ready to go, and make sure you're standing in the right spot. Maybe take a few test shots just standing still to make sure everything looks good. And then when you're ready, you're gonna ask your photographer if they're ready, and then you're gonna do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, so that they know when to be ready to start clicking like crazy, because basically you just want to capture as many shots as possible while you're moving and hope that one of them is amazing. So there's a little bit of trial and error involved as well. I think we probably usually try 2 or 3 goes to get a good one, so it doesn't take too long. It's just, I guess, being ready to capture it in the moment. So my classic twirl, I would say that I try to keep on my tippy toes a little bit, and I start facing away from the camera. And then when I start to twirl, I step around, so I'm stepping but keeping on my tippy toes and not twirling too fast, because whoop, I'm getting dizzy now. Because when you twirl too fast, some dresses get just like too big and puffy and you lose that like flowy. Another thing I wanted to quickly show you is that you don't necessarily need to be wearing a dress to add movement to your photos. And one way I've done this recently is by letting my jacket open up as I twirl to create a bit of shape, I guess. So I obviously am still wearing a dress, but just use your imagination and pretend that I'm wearing pants. And I'll just show you what I do to sort of get the movement happening in my jacket. So basically I'm doing the same sort of twirly thing, but I'm gonna put my arms up and let my jacket fly open. And that can work really nicely if you don't have a dress or a skirt to work with. I have just changed into a different dress for the next move I want to show you. And this one I've called the big flick. And basically this is one where I'm standing still but my dress is going to be moving, and it works really, really well with long maxi dresses with lots of fabric. So you can see this one has quite a lot to work with. Again, you can do it with smaller dresses with less fabric. It's just going to have a less dramatic effect, but it still works, and I've still done it with other dresses. So worth having a go at anyway if you're not sure, but I'm going to show you with this one to just show you the full effect. So basically it's going to work the same way, where you and your photographer are in sync and on the same page about when you're going to be doing your movement, so they're ready to snap, snap, snap. And basically I'm just going to grab the very edge of my dress out here, so I'm going to throw it and then try and put my hands back down as if I haven't thrown it, so it looks like my dress has just come to life by itself, as we all, you know, want our dresses to do. So this is what I would do. I would say, okay, 3, 2, 1, and then you have a split second there when the dress is in the air. I'll just do it again for you. So 3, 2, 1. And again, it probably is going to take a couple of times to capture. Now my next move is called the little sway, and this one works particularly well if you have a shorter dress with less fabric to work with, but you still want to capture a little bit of movement. Now this one you could obviously still do a little twirl with, but another way to capture some movement more subtly is kind of by swaying, and there's 2 different ways you can do this. So the first way is literally just rocking from side to side, and you sort of get a little bit of a flick happening. And then if you want a bit more movement, you can actually hop from foot to foot. And again, just try and capture that moment when it's almost flicking to the side. You might even use a hand to sort of get a bit more happening. But yes, that's a simple one. Also, I should have mentioned, be prepared to look like a fool in front of the general public while you're doing these. But it is worth it because you do get some pretty cool pictures. And then finally, I wanted to show you the little twirl. So as opposed to the big twirl where you're really moving and really, you know, have lots of fabric happening, this one is good for, again, a shorter dress with less fabric, or even if you're wearing pants or a jumpsuit or a romper or something like that. It gives you some movement in your body, even though there may not be necessarily a lot of fabric to work with. And the way I do this is I'm basically going to be twirling on one foot like a little ballerina, and it's kind of just a go around once and just do that over and over again until you capture something. So I will again start facing away, have my foot ready, and I'll actually lift this leg so it's kind of in the air the whole time. So, and I'll just do that once more for you. And so they are all of my favorite little twirly whirly moves that you've probably seen in a lot of my photos recently. And as you can see, there's not a huge deal of technique behind them. It's really just a lot of the time having the confidence to look like a bit of an idiot in front of other people. But you know what, for me, I think if I'm gonna get a nice picture out of it, I sort of am able to put that aside for a second and just avoid making eye contact with anyone. And also, if you have any of these dresses that I've been wearing in this video, they're actually all from my Autumn Capsule wardrobe, which I will link to up here. Sorry, it's on this side. There's a little arrow, you click and it will come down with some links that will take you to the dresses. And yeah, let me know what you thought of this video, because honestly it's a little bit different to anything I've done before and I do feel slightly silly. So I really hope it was helpful and beneficial to you guys. And also, if you do use any of these techniques and take some photos, I would love to see the results. So please feel free to DM them to me. And until next week, bye guys.